I let my neighbor's son mow my lawn for $20 a week. He was trying to save for college. Last month, I told him I'd be away and didn't need the lawn mowed. His mother came to my door that night, red-faced and furious. "You promised him that money. You OWS!" she screamed. The next morning, I woke up to see my front yard mowed into the shape of a giant middle finger. When I tried to fire him, she threatened to sue me for emotional damages. I laughed, until the court papers arrived. I live in Overland Park, Kansas. Not in some mansion or a gated neighborhood, just a regular two-bedroom house on a quiet street with people who wave at you when they're walking their dogs but don't really know your name. That's fine by me. I like things simple. I'm 52, divorced, no kids. I fix old radios and stereo systems for a living, real work, hands-on, and I don't have to deal with people too much. 3 years ago, a woman named Marla moved into the house next door with her 2 kids. One was a girl, maybe 10 or 11. The other was a teenage boy named Corey. He was 15 then. Good kid. Skinny, soft-spoken, polite. Called me, sir, the first time we spoke, which caught me off guard. It was early summer. He came over one afternoon, hands in his pockets, and asked if I needed help with the lawn. I looked at him. "How much you thinking?" $20 a week, sir. Just for mowing. It was a good deal. My yard isn't big. I said sure. Gave him cash every Saturday. He showed up with a push mower, did a clean job, and left. No problems. We kept this going for almost 2 years. Sometimes I gave him a little extra if it was hot, or he stayed longer. He told me once that he was saving up for college. I respected that. I barely saw his mom those first 2 years. Marla wasn't the friendly type. Always on her phone. Always yelling at someone, through the walls, through the window, even outside in her driveway. I heard her screaming at her ex-husband more than once. But I kept to myself. Then one day, about a month ago, I told Corey I'd be gone for a couple weeks. I was going down to the Lake of the Ozarks, taking a break. I said, "You don't need to come by while I'm gone. No mowing until I get back." He nodded. "Okay, sir. Thanks." I thought that was the end of it. That night, around 8:30, someone knocked on my door. Not a tap, more like hammering. I opened it, and there she was. Marla. In leggings and a stretched-out t-shirt, holding her phone in one hand, eyes wide, breathing heavy like she'd just run over. "You can't just cancel on him like that," she said. "You promised him." "I'm sorry?" I asked. "You promised him that money every week. He needs that money. You can't just go on vacation and not pay him." I stared at her. "I don't owe him anything. He mows the lawn when I need it. I told him ahead of time I wouldn't be home." She got louder. "You don't get it. He's been counting on that money. You're messing with his future." I almost laughed. "Lady, it's $20 a week. And I told him in advance. This is ridiculous." "UOWS. She snapped. "This is a job. He's your employee." I shut the door on her. Didn't say another word. I wasn't about to argue with crazy. Next morning I packed my car. Walked outside with my bag and froze. My entire front yard was mowed, but not neatly. The grass had been shaved into the shape of a massive middle finger. And not subtle. The outline was clean. Whoever did it knew exactly what they were doing. I couldn't even be mad. I stood there and stared at it for a full minute. Then I laughed. Petty? Yes. Funny? Absolutely. I left for my trip and forgot about it. I even texted a buddy a picture. When I got back, I went over to their house. Knocked on the door. Corey answered. I didn't want to make it awkward, so I spoke gently. Hey, bud. Just wanted to say thanks for your help these past couple years. I won't be needing the lawn mowed anymore. Before he could say anything, Marla pushed past him. You're firing him now? After everything? I'm just not continuing, that's all. You can't just drop him. That's not how this works. We could sue you, you know. Emotional damage. Financial damage. I raised an eyebrow. You're kidding, right? She crossed her arms. Try me. I laughed in her face. No way, she was serious. Then a week later, I got served. Court papers. Real ones. Small claims court. She was suing me for loss of wages, 2 weeks of not mowing, emotional distress, breach of verbal contract. I couldn't believe it. I had to sit down. At first, it still felt funny. But then I realized something. She wanted to drag this out. She wanted attention. She wanted money. Maybe even revenge for being embarrassed. I don't know. But here's what I do know. I wasn't going down like that. It was time to hit back. I wasn't going to roll over. I read those court papers 3 times. Then I got pissed. Not confused. Not nervous. Just angry. Because this wasn't just about money anymore. This was about principle. This woman had no idea who she was messing with. I may look like an average middle-aged guy, but I'd been through worse than her type. And if she wanted a fight, she was going to get one. First, I started documenting everything. Every text I'd ever sent Corey about mowing. Every Saturday payment I marked down in my notebook. I even printed out my calendar that showed the 2 weeks I told him I'd be away. Then I got myself a lawyer. Not a big-time guy. Just someone who knew the system. His name was Barry, worked out of a strip mall office near the highway. Looked like he hadn't slept in years, but he was sharp. When I showed him the paperwork, he smirked. She thinks she has a case? She thinks I'm going to just settle. Barry leaned back. You're lucky. This is so dumb, I can bury it. But we'll have to be smart. He filed a response with the court right away and started digging. While we waited for the court date, things on the street got weirder. Marla started a smear campaign. That's the only way to describe it. I'd come out to get the mail and see her talking to other neighbors, loud enough so I'd hear. He exploited my son. Treated him like a damn servant. He made promises. You don't break promises to kids. She even made flyers. Real paper flyers. Taped them to street poles. Don't trust a man at 1439 Ridgeview Drive, refuses to pay hardworking teens. One morning I found a flyer stuffed into my mailbox. Another was taped to my truck windshield. It started to piss me off more than the lawsuit. And poor Corey. He avoided me now. Couldn't look me in the eye. I saw him come outside a few times to get the trash, and he'd practically sprint back inside. Kid didn't ask for any of this, I knew it. His mother was using him as a pawn. That part made my blood boil. A week before the court date, Barry called me. You're gonna like this, he said. Did a background check. Marla's pulled crap like this before. 3 small claims suits in the last 5 years. All against neighbors. One for a broken porch step. Another for a barking dog. All dismissed. I felt something cold settle in my chest. This wasn't new for her. It was a pattern. A game. She looked for easy targets, made them look like villains, tried to wring money out of them. Let's make this public, Barry said. You want this to stop? We make sure everyone hears the full story. So that's what we did. The week of the hearing, I posted my own flyers. Same poles. Same corners. Black and white, simple bold text. Setting the record straight, I paid Corey fairly for 2 years. I gave him time off. His mom is suing me for emotional damages over a lawn mowing gig. Ask me about it. I signed my name. My real name. With my phone number. And people started calling. First it was the old couple 2 houses down. We thought something was fishy. That woman always has drama. Then it was a woman from 3 blocks away. She tried to get my son to rake her leaves for free last fall. Said she'd pay later. Never did. Then came a text from someone I didn't even know. She's done this at 3 other places she lived. Always the same story. Now I had witnesses. By the time the court date came, I was ready. But what happened in court surprised even me. The morning of court, I showed up wearing a plain button-up and slacks. Nothing fancy. Just clean and sharp. Barry met me outside with a folder thick with notes, photos, and signed statements. Inside the courthouse, it was quiet. Just a few other people sitting around, waiting for their turn. Marla showed up 15 minutes late, wearing bright red lipstick, fake pearls, and a tight blazer like she was headed to a job interview she wasn't qualified for. Corey was with her, in a button-up shirt 2 sizes too big. He looked miserable. When our case was called, the judge glanced at the paperwork, then at Marla. "You're suing the defendant for breach of verbal contract and emotional damages relating to a teenage lawn mowing job?" Marla jumped in. "Yes, Your Honor." He promised weekly payments to my son. Then he decided to take a vacation and denied him his wages. My son was devastated. This was emotional labor, and there was an agreement. He broke it. The judge turned to me. "Mr. Sanders, how do you respond?" Barry stood up and handed over a folder. "We have a full log of payments, a calendar showing the agreed break period, and statements from neighbors who were harassed and lied to by the plaintiff. In addition, we've submitted records showing that this plaintiff has filed 3 similar suits in the past 5 years, all dismissed. This appears to be a pattern." Marla's face went white. "Those were real cases," she snapped. The judge looked unimpressed. "Do you have written proof of a contract with the defendant?" She hesitated. "No. It was a spoken promise. That should count." The judge didn't even blink. "You're asking for emotional damages based on your own interpretation of a verbal agreement regarding a teenage side gig that the defendant voluntarily paid for?" "He manipulated my son!" she shouted. That was her mistake. Because Corey, sitting there quietly the whole time, finally spoke up. "No, he didn't." Everyone turned to him. Marla glared. "Corey," but he kept going. "He always paid me. Every week. Even gave me extra when it was hot. I didn't expect to be paid when he went out of town." "Mom, this isn't right." You could have heard a pin drop. Marla's jaw locked, her eyes full of rage. The judge cleared his throat. "Thank you, young man." Barry leaned toward me and whispered, "That just killed her case." And it did. The judge dismissed everything. Then he looked straight at Marla. "Consider this a warning. The court is not a tool for personal vendettas. Further misuse may result in penalties." Marla stormed out, dragging Corey behind her. I stood there, stunned. I'd won. But I wasn't done. Because what came next was even better. I thought that would be the end of it. But I underestimated how petty Marla could be. The day after court, I found dog crap smeared across my front porch. Real mature. 2 days later, someone scratched the side of my truck with a key. Not a little nick, a full drag down the driver's side. The same night, I heard yelling from their backyard. She was screaming at Corey, something about how he humiliated her in court. I knew I should have let it go. Walked away. But I didn't. I filed a police report about the vandalism. Didn't expect much from that. But I had a camera installed, hidden, tucked just under the eaves of my garage. I caught her 2 nights later, walking over in the dark with a bag of trash and dumping it across my lawn. I printed stills. Called the cops again. This time, they came to her door. She screamed at them too. Screamed so loud I heard her from inside my house. The officer came back to me shaking his head. "She's not right. But we'll file it. If it keeps happening, press charges." I said okay. But I didn't stop there. I went back to the people who had called me before. The ones she tried to scam. I asked if they'd be willing to write statements. 3 of them said yes. One even had text messages from years back, where Marla promised to ruin a neighbor's reputation if he didn't compensate her for the stress of his barking dog. Barry filed a restraining order and defamation claim. Small claims, yes. But backed by enough people, it got real serious, real fast. Then something unexpected happened. A woman showed up at my door. Mid-40s. Dressed nice. Nervous. "Are you the guy who lives next to Marla?" she asked. "Yeah. I'm her sister," she said quietly. "We haven't spoken in years. But I saw your flyers and then heard about the court case. I thought you should know, she's not well. She's been doing this for a long time." Lies. Scams. She's been evicted before. Got fired for accusing a coworker of harassment when he wouldn't lend her money. I asked, "Why are you telling me?" She hesitated. "Because of Corey. He doesn't deserve this. He's a good kid. He needs help. And you might be the only person left who cares." That hit me hard. I sat with that for a few days. Thought about how the kid had stood up in court. How he told the truth, even with his mom staring daggers through him. So I did something I didn't expect myself to do. I wrote Corey a letter. Told him I appreciated his honesty. Told him I didn't hold anything against him. And inside I put a check for $1,000. I wrote in the note, "This is not from guilt. You earned this, kid. Put it toward college. Don't let her ruin your future." I never heard back. But a month later, I saw U-Haul in their driveway. She was gone. No goodbye. No notice. Just gone. I found out later through a neighbor that Corey had moved in with his aunt. The same woman who came to my door. She took him in. Said she enrolled him in a local community college. Said he was working part-time now. Living clean. Quiet. Happy. As for Marla, I don't know. I don't care. She left a mess behind. She always does. But I came out of it stronger. I fixed my truck. Reseeded my lawn. And now? I mow my own damn grass.